What's up, everybody? We are back.
We are back.
Episode number 251.
51.
That's
In
easy.
this episode, we are going to be talking basically about our top 5 of 2024 from each of us. Steve bowed out at the last minute because his family took him out to dinner, apparently, for his birthday.
Jeez,
So,
for the birthday. Wow.
happy birthday, Steve.
You
So,
bet. Happy
yeah.
birthday indeed.
But anyhow, before we get going, why don't we go around the room and see if anybody's got anything to say outside of the top 5.
I don't really
got?
have anything to say. This will probably be will this be our last show for the year?
This will be our last show of the year.
The next week is Christmas Eve, and then following week is New Year's Eve. So
Yep.
let's start fresh in the first week in January.
2025.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know where 2024 went, but there's been a whirlwind of activity, at least in
Well,
my house.
There it goes.
You get older, it goes quicker. Believe me.
Yeah. Well, especially when
Absolutely.
you get married and add a family and dogs and cats and lizards and all sorts of fun stuff, and then you start
Dogs
thinking
and cats
about
and cockroaches and everything else.
yeah.
I know where I live, we're expecting
because I'm a
snow
licensed
here
pest control operator
tomorrow,
still. So
we don't.
anyway, we've got a lot
You're
of
getting
people
snow up there?
lined up.
Well, we're on the verge of a snowstorm here coming up here Wednesday, Thursday. I mean, 7 inches, which is not a whole lot, but
I can't think of a better place to get trapped with snow than up where you are, and then you can just listen to records all day and have an excuse.
I did that all last week. I was
Middle of a
jamming
kill.
that album after album after album.
Yeah, gotta
Yeah,
love
it
it.
has.
Yeah, we had a Snowmageddon
Hola.
event here about 5 years ago, and it literally crippled the entire metroplex of Dallas. I mean, the
I
problem is
remember that.
when it rains, then it freezes, and then it snows over it, and then it rains again, and then snows. I don't care who you are. I don't care how skilled a driver you are. You cannot drive on ice. And so,
Well, you got to be used to it. Actually, I mean, you can drive on it, but most people kind of overdo their driving.
yeah, they drive
Well-
too fast, and then they don't steer correctly. But anyway, I digress. It was great because we got trapped in the house, and we still had power. Some of the folks in our neighborhood didn't even have power, but we had power and heat and water, and we played pool and listened to records and had a good time. But anyway, so here we are heading into the end of the year, which I know is, and we've been talking about this. We've talked about our favorite records so far this year, but it was hard to put together a top 5. It was hard to put together a top 10.
Yep.
But
Yes. For me, this is the first one I did. I didn't do one last year because I was in the midst of moving, and it was right around this time. Christmas is when I moved everything, so
Yeah, you moved
just completely did not do a list.
well,
I got,
we're going to do one this year. It's going to be a short one, but that's okay.
Yep.
I got my Skulovich album in the mail, so that's going to be my shout out this week to Skulovich. Finally got that in the mail.
Wow.
I got mine as well.
Got a cool little note with mine, which was handwritten, little drawing on it and everything, which is kind of fun.
And you got the lyric sheet too.
Yeah. They've created their own little booklet with lyrics in it, which was kind of nice. It's a
Hey,
very DIY project.
Yeah.
Speaking of cool little artwork and stuff like that, when does the Voivod ship?
The Voivod ships, I don't know. I can look it up real quick though.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. You guys have been talking about it for so long, and I've not.
I don't have a copy yet. I don't even have an advanced copy. I have heard the test pressing, and it sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
Let's find out here. When's the
I've been kind of
Voivod ship?
on a Voivod bender here lately.
That's funny. So have I.
Especially Outer Limits and Dimension Hatros, and I've been listening to the Chronic.
The
KRONIK.
release date for the End of Dormancy is February 15th. But if you pre-ordered, you'll definitely get yours early.
Okay, well,
There's a lot of pre-orders up for albums coming out here in the next couple of months now. You're just seeing them pop up all the time now.
Well, not to mention the Iron Jaw thing.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
Voivod, man, I love that version of End of Dormancy with all the orchestration and stuff on it. And you think orchestration, oh man, it's going to be like corny, like I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of orchestration like you would expect Pink Floyd to do, not like you would expect a power metal band to do.
Well, they were very Pink Floydian on Outer Limits, I thought. In fact, they
Yeah.
even did
Oh,
a Pink
yeah.
Floyd cover, and
They've done a couple Pink Floyd covers.
yeah. So anyway,
Hey, we need to. Ryan Roback is with us. Oh, and Damien Hair Metal. What's up, guys? Metal
Yep.
Mayhem 777's with us.
Fraser Dawson, the I ain't no poser on the king of heavy metal. Okay, go ahead.
And
Just keep talking.
but Ryan
Fraser.
Roback's here from Motivic, and we need to get that guy on the show sometime so we can talk Motivic. And he was also in what's the other band he's in? Something in my mind. Gosh, I can't remember. It'll come to me. Anyhow, another thrash speed metal band whose name is Ritual Servant.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Ritual. Yeah, he's in Ritual Servant too, because Ritual Servant's got a new album out this year too, which I'm pretty sure would have been in Steve's top. Matter of fact, I think I know 3 of Steve's top 5s without even him being here. So,
Well, I know what his top 2 are. Speaking of speed metal merchants, how about I'll shout out Vic Stone. I know he's been struggling with a few things lately, and shout out Positive Vibes and incantations and prayers and whatever you feel like doing. But that's a good, solid dude, and he's a ripping riff writer. And
Absolutely.
Vic, and hope things improve.
Speaking of Vic and Vindicator, I got the new Rock Hard magazine.
Yeah.
And on page, look at this. Page 85, you got your Vindicator review. No That's Metal Records.
Yes.
Gave him a 7.5 out of 10. And then right above it, there's a Rocks Records one for True Strength, which I'm surprised to see in there, but they gave that an 8 out of 10. So,
well, I think you got graded a little low, but I think we're partial.
I did too, but it's not a bad review from what I can tell. It's in German, so I had to run it through. Translate. But from what I can tell, it was good. But in any case, so
you better put your phone over it anyway and snap it and translate.
That's what I did. I just took a picture of it and copied the text, and then it worked. But of course, it doesn't always do a great job, so you have to kind of read between the lines a little bit. But let's go ahead and start getting into it. But I did want to mention that I'm going to end up doing a top 30 on the Left to Metal channel for the year. So getting it down to top 5 was tough. And then I thought maybe I'll do it on this show since everybody's going to be doing metal. Maybe I'll do a top 5 just rock albums, because there's some good rock albums came out this year too.
Absolutely.
But I decided to just go ahead and do the metal ones. But I did want to quickly show a few just rock albums that I've been listening to quite a bit. But this is the newest from Ian Hunter, which is really good.
Wow, he's still doing records, huh?
Yep, Defiant Part 2 Fiction.
He hasn't lost a heartbeat. He's been pumping them out quite a bit.
Yeah, good album, really good. I mean, it's pretty much what you would expect from him, kind of Mott the Hoople style hard rock, or just rock. I mean, I'm not even sure I call it hard rock. And then this one I just found out about recently, but I mean, I'm a huge Grand Funk fan.
I've just been seeing that advertised too.
It's good. I mean, it's it's not 1969, Grand Funk Railroad, but it sounds like Mark Farner. If you like Mark Farner's solo stuff, you're going to dig it. It's just good, solid rock and roll. And then this one I think I might have shown in the past, but this is the new Van Zant.
Oh yeah, you did.
Donnie and Donnie Van Zant, and it's really good. I mean, don't expect Lynyrd Skynyrd or 38 Special.
Yeah.
It's its own thing, but I think they did a great job on it.
And speaking of old people doing records, have you heard the new Udo? He's doing a redo of
he's doing Balls to the Wall redo. Yeah, I saw that.
I think
not sure that was just redo, but I kind of
announced yesterday. I believe it was the first day, or maybe it was today.
Hey,
I know it's came out too.
We got Clay here, Clayton, and we got Greg from Girder Records on here, and Backbreaker Records.
Joined us, John Smith, Alan Ellsworth.
Oh, hey, Vic's here too. Yep. We just talked about you. Oh, Vic heard you.
Yeah, he heard me.
Yep. And but before we get into our top 5, I did want to show one that this is my biggest disappointment of the year. And I'm not saying this is a bad band or they suck or any of that kind of stuff. This is a band that I absolutely love. I buy everything they put out, and I have for since '83, I think. But this is the newest Anvil, one and only. It just didn't trip my trigger for some reason, and I can't figure out why. I
Is
even
every
listened to it a
song-
couple more
every-
times
is
this
every
week.
song- Is every song about weed?
No, it's not. They kind of, it's really not. They kind of lyrically, I think it's a decent album. It's probably better than some of them, the last two where they were singing about weed and just silly stuff. But this one's, I mean, you can see the song titles. There's nothing really, weird on there. But the music is just kind of, it just doesn't have any
Well,
zip for me.
it has
What do you think?
a lot of lulls into it. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of high points, I don't think, as far as stuff from the past, like
Yeah.
we're used to.
I don't know what it is. I've
I have
tried
the
and
album.
tried.
It wasn't one of my, well, put it this way, it wasn't in my top list.
Yeah. And you did, how many did you do? Top 30?
No, I just did a top 20.
Yeah, still top 20, and it didn't make your list, and it's one of our, one of both of our favorite bands. So it's kind of unfortunate that I don't know what it is. It just didn't grab me, and I keep putting it away and forgetting about it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do my list. So I started listening to all these 2025 albums, and I pulled that one out, and I'm like, it just disappeared in the background as I was working. So then I was like, all right, well, later on I put it on again when I'm not working, and I could pay attention to it, and it still didn't grab my attention. So I just don't know what it is. But
Anyway,
anyhow,
I was going to say, let me shout out Jamie Moore since he just joined us. And Jamie, pay attention to 128 DB Rock, The Crypt, this Saturday at 10 o'clock, because it starts off with a bang, an irreverent bang, if you know what I mean. So jump on that in any form or fashion. But anyway, well, it's disappointing about Anvil because, I mean, they're kind of the pinnacle of... I rewatched part of that documentary, and I got to the point where the Scorpions were opening for them, and I just thought, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened to these guys? Now they're delivering school lunches in the snow. I don't understand.
But, I mean, management was a big part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That had to be a major factor.
Switching labels, members wanting to do different styles, and wanting to go more commercial. And Anvil's base was more of a thrash metal fan, base, and speed metal fan base. So I mean, yeah, it was all kinds of stuff. But I mean, even the album, like remember the video for Mad Dog? I always thought that was freaking awesome. Because I'm a mad dog, a mad dog.
They were on David Letterman, and they were on.
They were on the cusp, man. They were heading up. Same thing happened to Raven. I mean, Raven were on the way up. I mean, they were getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they signed with Atlantic Records, and Atlantic just punched them in the face and knocked them out. So,
yeah, but I think Raven's putting out better music than Anvil these days. That's just
Anvil. I mean, they put out the Mad EP, and everything after that's been great.
They have that. They just announced they're having that EP. They're putting out an EP as well. Three new songs and a couple of covers, I think.
Yeah,
there's all kinds of stuff on there. It's like a bunch of live tracks. I think it's like 10 songs on the EP, but yeah. And it's only CD, and it's only available directly through the band. So if anybody's interested in that, that's where you get the
money in your pocket, I guess.
Yeah,
but, you might as well. I mean, the problem is you don't get it out to the masses, and it won't be in stores, and it's hard to get on places like Amazon and stuff. But whatever.
True, but then there are guys like you that will say, "Hey, send me 30 copies, and you'll get them out to the masses." And then all of a sudden, you'll light them on fire. But all right,
Amy Moore said, "Lamb of God, 2025."
Yeah, he's got a cover band, and let me tell you what, if I know Lamb of God is not one of your favorite, but if you saw Lamb of God, you would probably really appreciate the fact that those guys, I don't want to say they sound better, okay? Because I've only heard stuff on the phone, but they sound pretty good. So anyway.
Hey, before you get into it real quick, I'm going to ask, let's see if he just commented it a second ago, where Damien Hair Metal, if you're listening, curious, type in the comments. I'm curious what you think of the new Striper album. Because that's another one that's kind of, I mean, besides all the drama that went on with that band and whatnot, I'm just talking strictly about the music. I thought their last 3 or 4 albums were really, really well done. I mean, they were great guitar solos, great guitar work, good songwriting, and Sweet's vocals sound as good as they ever have. But the newest one, it was kind of like the Anvil, just didn't trip my trigger much. So I'm just
No,
kind
they're
of
basically they're the same lineup, same personnel, same everything. They really haven't changed.
except for bass player Timothy Gaines has been out for a while,
Okay,
but they got the guy from whose name has slipped my mind from Firehouse. It's been with him for quite a while now.
gotcha.
Guy with the big giant blonde hair that I wish I still had. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get into it because we're 15 minutes in already. So why don't we start with Kevin, then we'll go John, and then we'll just go around the thing. So Kevin, you're up first. What is
All
your going to
right.
be? If you have any runners up, show that too, but and then show your number 5.
Well, I'll show the ones after. I'll show the number 5, and then I'll show a couple that I've had in my top 20 anyway. So, but this album here really blew me away when I first heard Lazy Old Sod. That thing really just grabbed
What
me
is it?
instantly. And it was this Deep Purple for me coming in at number 5. Fantastic album. I mean, this thing just, to me, it almost sounds like early or not really early Deep Purple, but the 70s era Purple. You know, I don't know, maybe the Mark III sound maybe of this. I mean, it's close to, but man, this thing is just a killer record.
Yeah, I think musically you're right on target with that assessment.
Yeah.
Vocally, I mean, I don't, just like any of those guys. I mean, Gillian is what, 70?
72,
Maybe
I thought he was.
72.
Yeah, I think he's older than that. Yep.
But he's learned to sing within his range, kind of like our buddy James Rivera. Even Halford has learned to drop down an octave or two.
Ian Gillan is, get this, 79 years old.
Oh, 79. Wow.
Holy smoke.
Born August 19th, 1945. Am I doing the math correct? I think it's 79 years old.
Yeah, he'll be 80 in next year. That's crazy.
Man, he sounds incredible at that age, I mean,
well, then I cut him even more slack, but I love Deep Purple. I'm waiting on my vinyl copy of that to show up, but I actually did a deep dive in it the last week, and man, they have name a crappy Deep Purple record. Some of them haven't been quite as good, but name me one that's just complete trash, like Lulu or any of the Metallica.
I don't know, maybe I wasn't really that high on the Bananas album. For me, I just didn't care.
But is it garbage?
No, it's not.
I won't say no.
That's the thing. They may not be in rock or Fireball or Machine Head, but they just don't ever stop putting out good music.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's an incredible. And I've seen a lot of high reviews on this album. I've seen a couple of videos where this is in their list, and so it's not only us older guys, but even the younger guys are liking this album a lot too. I mean, it's an incredible album. I thought they put out a fantastic album.
It was one of the first records I ever bought. But anyway,
I got a couple of these are 3 albums I'm going to show here that were in my top 20, and these are all 3 thrash albums. First one comes out of Canada, Corrosive. This thing is absolutely a ripper, Catastrophic Creation. This is their 3rd release. And these guys, I mean, probably even borderline speed metal at times on this, but these guys are just fantastic. 3rd album. And all the other releases are also on vinyl, which I do have. That was a killer one. This is more deathy thrash from Vicious Blade. And this is Relentless Force. These guys, I mean,
cool cover art.
Speedy thrash. It's trying to think of the label. I don't see it right offhand, but I mean, fantastic thrash here. More deathy thrash. And then, of course, from Germany, we get Surgical Strike. Just incredible thrash.
Those dudes are wicked.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, this is their 2nd release. I think this is the first one on vinyl for these guys. But, man, if you see these, pick them up. They're incredible albums.
Agreed.
All right, John, you're up. I'm going to solo lay out you so you can show it off.
Okay, well, I have a bunch of runners up and stuff I couldn't show. And unfortunately, it's all on cassette. So Oryx, Primordial Sky. This is a punishing Death Doom record. We saw them in Salt Lake, as mentioned, another Denver heavy band. Witch Vomit, Funeral Sanctum, top quality death metal. You can't go wrong. There's Sybaris, Maze Envy. This is another Oakland band. I don't know what's going on out on the West Coast, but they're Sentient Ruin and Everlasting Spew Records is just killer. The new Hyperdontia. They put out an EP called Deranged and a full length. Gotta love it. And then Spectral Voice, which is members of, it's kind of a side project of the Blood Incantation guys, but with no frills. It's all just brutal death metal. But and I have some others that I can mention. But so my number 5, I'm going to shock the world with a couple things here. But this new Yes record, it's not new, it's old music, but it's been remastered and put out on vinyl for the first time. But this is Yes Fragile, but it's all alternative versions, different lyrics, different arrangements. One's a Steven Wilson mix, one's a rough mix. This thing is just superb.
Yeah.
And this was I think that one of the best things available on Record Store Day. So I'm glad that our local hangout, County Line Records, just down the street from me, had it. But I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's like you're renewing your love for Yes, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So that's my
I mean
number
the
5.
versions of like Roundabout and let's see, Long Distance Runaround and Heart of the Sunshine, Mood for a Day. I mean, they're all very different than the versions that are on.
Yeah,
it's not just
very
like it's not just like a slight difference, like I can only tell if you have a really good stereo. No, it's there's different stuff being played.
right.
There, I mean, it's very
a major
different.
difference, and so I think it stands alone. So
I
you
do
can
too.
call it you can call it Yes 2.0 or whatever you want to do, but that thing is fantastic.
I love the
and-
packaging too, with the cutout with the little
with the die cut
thing on it.
for the-
Yeah,
That looks
fantastic
cool.
release.
So that's my number 5 is Yes Fragile reissued or Fragile whatever. The
I've been
2.0.
seeing that over on Facebook quite a bit too. People showing that, so yeah, might have to investigate on that one.
Yeah, that's please do.
I'll tell you now, the prices are going up quickly on the Yes if you're interested in it. But there is one. I bought mine for $17 on eBay. There is one seller who has, last I looked, 10 copies for $19.99, which is the cheapest I'm seeing them, because everybody else has them up in the 30s and 40s now. So
That's
but
crazy how they just
the retail on them was $40, and which is too high, or $38. I think that's way too high, but it's worth every penny. I think.
yeah, I thought so. So I'm sorry. Did I let you finish? Should I go?
No. Go ahead. You're up
All right.
next.
So runners up. I had a hard time getting it down to the 5, but runners up. Here, I'll solo myself. I don't usually do that, but I'll do it for this one. Ruthless, the new Ruthless, The Fallen. These guys are out touring in Europe right now with Jag Panzer, tearing up the stages. This one took me by the storm. I think I showed this before, but this Amplifier by Hall of Flame, this one, I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it's just old school, straight up heavy metal from Kurt Vanderhoof, from Metal Church, and it doesn't sound like Metal Church either. It's just good. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's just good. This one, oh man, when I do my top 5 on No Light to Metal, this may end up making the top 5. I'm having a hard time pulling it out, but this is the new Nasty Savage, which I'm really digging. I just really think somehow, despite it being Nasty Ronnie being the only original member left in the band, as far as I know,
that thing has gotten expensive.
It's good. I mean, it sounds like classic Nasty Savage. It's just straight up good thrash. But my number 5 pick is one of my favorite bands, Flotsam and Jetsam. This is I Am the Weapon. I think this is one of the best albums they've done. Well, actually, I think their last 3 albums have been fantastic, but this one is really, really, really good. Love the cover art. Got a little Flotzilla down here fighting the giant dragon. So, that's my pick. It's just straight up thrash metal with Eric A.K.'s clean, soaring vocals. He hasn't really lost much. He sounds great.
Well, you would have been in Hog
Absolutely, yeah, it sounds fantastic.
You'd have been in hog heaven, Scott, because when they were here, Iron Jaw opened for them. So
Right on.
that would have been something to write home about. But
Speaking of Iron Jaw, whose shirt I happen to be wearing, that's just coincidence. But they are having their album release party on February 1st in Texas with who's opening for him?
Creeper, I do believe.
Creeper, yeah, Creeper. Yep. So I'm looking forward. I've never seen Creeper, so I'm looking forward to seeing, and I've never seen Iron Jaw, so I'm looking forward to seeing them both. I will be in Texas for that show in
It would be awesome.
February 1st, and the album comes out in January. I think the second Friday in January is the official release date. But from what I understand, pre-orders will be shipping early, right, shortly after Christmas.
Right on.
Unless something happens with the mail and the records get lost, but they're on their way to.
That never happens.
Hopefully,
they're on their way to California right now. So.
I know Canada, they're having a postal strike and they're having a hard time getting stuff in up there.
Yeah, you got to use UPS or one of the other services to get anything there.
Yep.
All right, you're up again, Kevin. Right. Number 4.
Number 4 for me, and I love this band. Another Canadian band. Surprise. Canada.
Justin Bieber?
Yep, you got her. Traveler. Prequel to Madness. New wave of traditional heavy metal. This is their third release. Not quite as good as their first release, which was absolutely killer, but these guys are just great songwriters, great musicians, but anyway, their third release. The only thing I despise is sometimes it's hard to get these over in the States or even Canada because there are no remorse releases. Out
of Greece, right?
They're tough to get at times. But luckily,
that Flotsam and Jetsam I showed was not easy to get either. So, and they're on AFM Records. That Flotsam and Jetsam was a pain in the butt to get.
Oh, yeah, we could.
I know you had the same situation trying to get a copy, right?
I mean, this is probably their most colorful album to date. Cover. If you're familiar with the last two, they're kind of a darker blue.
Yeah, I have the first two. I don't have that one yet.
This one is probably their most colorful and a really good album. Really, really good album for that.
Yep, I like Traveler. Just good straight up heavy metal.
Yep, absolutely killer stuff. Anyway, that's my number 4.
Well, only because Shannon Fry just popped on. I don't know if The Unraveling is officially released in 2024, but if it's not, Katie, bar the door for next year, because that thing is a ripping slab of speedy thrash metal. But anyway, here's my number 4, and I know nobody will believe it, but this is Trauma Ray. And I know it's kind of goofy because it's got an unreadable logo, but these guys have clean vocals, powerhouse riffing. They've been described as a alternative rock shoegaze with heavy hitting riffs. So I got the green one. This thing is from a sonic standpoint, it's a super quality recording, awesome mastering. And great songs, and I can't wait to see these dudes live. But this kind of sneaked up on me. But Trauma Ray, the Chameleon, and it great packaging. Like I said, I got the mint green copy. And once again, I haven't seen them live yet, but someone mentioned them. In fact, I think it was Wyatt over at St. Marie Records. He does a lot of shoegaze stuff. And I've gotten into it and Scott, you can get out your slipper and stare at it if you want. But anyway, it is a legitimate genre of legitimate genre of rock or metal, and so I don't know. I kind of dig it because it's got some ambient feel to it, and it's got some soaring vocals, and it's got just powerful, punishing riffs. So anyway,
I know a person I follow loves shoegaze.
Yeah, I mean it's just another genre of music that we just keep getting all these subdivisions of the metal community, and that's fine by me. It's just an interesting creative outlet.
Someone asked me. last week someone asked me what other form of metal would you call would shoegaze be closest to? Like you got thrash, you got doom. Is it? I mean, where would you put it closer to?
No. Well, you know what? What would you call blood incantation?
Weird mixture of everything.
Okay. Yeah, it's a mixture of everything. Well, that's what shoegaze is. It's a little more melodic. It's a lot more melodic than your typical death metal. It has thrashy elements. It has heavy elements. It has some hardcore kind of thrown in there. But if you are a fan of post-punk new wave, you would kind of dig the vibe there. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like that band Crosses, which is Chino Moreno from the Deftones, which is some of the heaviest stuff from the 90s. But now he's doing these sweeping, soaring vocals and a lot of keyboard work. And I'm not saying that that's what the Trauma Ray is, but the Trauma Ray is heavy, but it's happy in a shoegazy kind of way. I don't know how to describe it. You just have to check it out. Just take my word for it. Just take a few minutes, look into it, and then just tell me what you think. There's a couple of bands like that locally. There's a band called Bleed that has a similar vibe. We Are Love Blind. That's another one. But I love thrashy elements and I love heavy elements, and it has both of them.
Right on.
So,
I just had someone ask last week, and he hit the show at the end when we were already done. So I was like, next time it comes up, I'll ask again. So
yeah, I can't really describe it. I mean, how do you describe Osric Tentacles? You see, that's where we need Rob, because Rob had a great definition of what Osric Tentacles was. So anyway, what do you got?
Okay, Scott? What do I got? Number 4. Another thrash metal. We have a lot of thrash metal.
Yeah.
Atrophy's Asylum. As if they didn't break up in 1991 or whatever it was. This album sounds like the third release, but with a very much more modern recording. It's very well recorded. But yeah, this is Asylum by Atrophy. It's just brutal, balls to the wall, machine gun riffing.
It's on my want list.
Yeah, it's funny thing is like the Travelers on my want list. It's impossible for us to buy everything we want, right?
Well, absolutely.
And even the what was the one you just mentioned a minute ago, John, was the Blood Incantation. I actually ordered that on vinyl, and it's taken almost 2 months. It's still not here yet. So
well, it's because they've blown out all the copies, and
but it's shipped. It's just in shipping nightmare somewhere, so it'll get here eventually.
It's coming from England or from Germany. That's why.
Probably. But anyhow, yeah, I think this is a great album from Atrophy. I think I was kind of worried they'd come back and try, something modern or try a different sound. And nope, they just were like, we're Atrophy and we play thrash metal. And that's exactly what you got going on here. Just, great thrash metal and memorable. You know what I mean? It's like some thrash metal is just speed for speed's sake. And it's, you can kind of forget it real quick, but I think they wrote good riffs, good hooks and everything else with this one. So anyhow, have you heard this one yet, John?
I have. I've ordered it and I'm waiting on a copy.
Awesome.
I can't buy too much because Christmas is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
That's usually when I buy.
Well, all right, you're up.
All right.
You're up there.
Well, we might as well keep it in the thrash vein again, and this is my number 3 here.
Number 3, right on.
Yeah. I am the weapon, man. I mean, it's killer thrash. I mean, to me, it has a little bit of a power metal influence in some of their songs, but it still has that thrash vibe throughout this album here. But the only thing I dislike is, of course, we talked about before the show about the delays on these albums here. I mean, especially this one. I mean, and I still don't know if we're going to get them that we ordered through Amazon. So I went out and I had to buy one just to have it,
Yep. I did the same.
I know these things are going to jump up in price and might as well get her now while you can. But yeah, this thing just, it rips.
Well, a lot of my stuff that I've been buying lately, and say what you want, I love physical copies, but if it's cost prohibitive, I still download the music off of Bandcamp. A, because I know that the bands get paid,
Right,
and
yep.
B, if you buy the vinyl or the tape or the CD, you still get an MP3 copy immediately. So at
Yep.
least you have the music while you're waiting impatiently for your unit to come in.
And that's what I love about Bandcamp. I mean, it's always there for you too.
Yeah. You ready for number
Shannon,
3?
Shannon Fry said Atrophy's a C-level band.
Well,
I don't know if I
they're
agree
not
with that, but
Testament or Violence, but whatever. Okay, since we're keeping it in the thrash realm, how about this? Rotting Corpse.
Oh yeah.
abs.
Rotting Corpse, Thrash in Pain or Die Insane. And yes, I did the cover, and it was a fun project. And Steve Murphy and Rick over at Turkey Baster Records are just they're saints for putting this out. This needed to come out years and years ago. It didn't, but it's here and it sounds phenomenal. And it is literally neck-breaking fury, and I love it. So if you can find it, buy it. I know that there are copies available. I have the red, the black, and the yellow and red splatter. You should buy all the versions because it's that good. And anyway, so Rotting Corpse, Thrash in Pain, or Die Insane. This is my number 3. So what could be number 2 and number 1? Who knows? Scott?
Number 3 for me.
That's 3.
Probably not. Actually, I think this is what would also. And I know this one was going to be number 2 in somebody else's list who didn't make it today. But New Motivic, Renouncement. Steve had this as number 2 in his. I know for a fact because I think he told you the same. Did he not, John?
Yeah.
But anyhow, yeah. Ryan Robeck,
2.
who is watching the show now, this is his band, and I like the first album a lot. I thought it was a great album, but this one here just grabbed me by the jugular and held on. I'm basically basing my top 5 on these are the albums that I played the most this year, where I just kept wanting to hear them again and again and again. And this one here I have on CD and vinyl. And matter of fact, all these that I've showed, I have them on CD and vinyl. So I tend to play them in my car and at home on my turntable. So
that one came in at I think number 12 for me, Motivic.
Right on. And there's one cover song on here which is Renouncement, and I usually covers are. I like cover songs. I like when my favorite bands, cover my other favorite bands, but I don't usually think that they're better than the original ones. But I think the cover of Betrayal's Renouncement on here is just freaking brilliant. So they even bring in, if I'm not mistaken, I think they bring in Betrayal's vocalist to share vocal duties on the song. So, but yeah, great album from Motivic. Looking forward to the next one.
Hey, Scott. Thrasher Be Thrash said he can't find the Rotting Corpse. So Thrasher Be Thrashed, if you can look up Turkey Baster Records or Space Cadet Jet Distro. I don't know if you can post a link for Space Cadet Jet Distro, but they will have copies, and they are not they're less expensive than if you buy them in the wild. So because you're buying them directly from the band, basically.
Yeah.
So, Turkey Baster Records or Space Cadet Jet Distro.com.
Space Cadet, what is it? Space Cadet what?
Space Cadet Jet Distro.com.
I'm looking up the link, and I'll put a link for everybody.
There you go. Or Turkey
Space
Baster
Cadet
Records.
Jet. Yep, found it. It's looks like they use Big Cartel as their selling site.
Yeah,
looks like they have copies. They have copies available for $20. So I will post that link for everybody right now.
Yep. Believe me, it's worth having. It's not only a slab of Texas metal history, but it rips. It will restore your. It'll restore your any lost idea that thrash is dead, because it's not.
The Motivic, yeah, I can get you the link to the Motivic too. But you guys, go ahead and keep going. I'm going to find the Motivic link for you.
Your number 2.
Number two and number 1 for me were very difficult. I interchanged them, but beginning of the year, this album came out, and this was number 2 for the longest time for me. And the CD probably stayed in my truck for probably a month nonstop, and I went with Saxon. Hellfire and Damnation as my number 2 pick of 2024. I mean, like fine wine, these guys just get better and better and better. And I mean, with the addition of Brian Tatler, I mean, they just kind of upped it a little bit with him. I mean, but yeah, killer album. I mean, not to me, there's not one bad track on here. It's just a phenomenal album from Saxon. I mean,
Well,
Yeah, it'll make that one will make my top 20 of the year too.
yeah, they after a certain point, I think like after the Killing Ground, whatever that era was, that back in the late 90s, mid 90s.
Mhm.
They've never really put out.
early 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, they just keep churning out great records for sure.
And I think it was Unleash the Beast or whatever that one was with the red cover with the beast on the front of it. Remember
Yeah,
that one?
Lionheart and some of the others.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
That Unleashed the Beast to me was, I think, their comeback where they really
exactly.
focused
Once Unleash
more
the
on-
Beast came out, everything after that's been at least good, if not fantastic. So
agreed.
so that was your number 2, right?
Number 2 of it.
Yeah.
Number
so
2,
what's my
Saxon.
number 2? Well, here's another reissue. But is it a reissue? It's a re-record. It's kind of like the Yes. It's re-recorded. This is Cavalera. Well, they say in the notes it's Cavalera Conspiracy, and this is their re-recording of Schizophrenia, which was my favorite Sepultura record. And I, aside from the production, I love all the songs, kind of like a la Destruction. You know, the first 2 or 3 Destructions just sounded like garbage, but the music was so good that you sort of overlooked it. And then if you saw it performed live, it was even better. Well, we saw them on this, and this thing is so killer. And even with the guitars in tune, I didn't think I would like it as much if the guitars were in tune, because that's the dirty little secret of the original recording, is that all the guitars were out of tune. But anyway, Cavalera Conspiracy, the redo of Schizophrenia. This thing freaking rules, and I got it on the Curacao colored vinyl. So that's my hot number 2. I wonder what my number 1 is.
My number 2 is big shock, because I don't talk about these guys on every single freaking show we do, but Patriarchs in Black, Visioning. Dan Lorenzo of Hades fame. This is his band, along with
Johnny Kelly.
Johnny Kelly of Typo Negative. I'm pretty sure he was in Quiet Riot for a while as well.
He was.
But anyhow, he's most known for the Typo Negative connection. But this is slow, dark, very doomy music, very Sabbathy inspired stuff. Most of the songs have that kind of dark, doomy sound, but there are a few other songs like Welcome to Hell Again, where they pull in a slightly more modern vibe. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think DMC from Run DMC sings on that song, literally sings, and does a little bit of that rap style vocals too. So I wouldn't call it new metal by any stretch of the imagination. No, it's way too dark and doomy for that. But yeah, I just, ever since I discovered this band last year, I just can't seem to get enough of them. But not only did they release this, but they also released the EP, which I have right here. Ta-da! There's the EP. It's called Covered in Black. 6 songs, 5 covers, and 1 new track. And the covers are fantastic. And I'm looking forward to the full length vinyl, hopefully coming out in 2025. So Patriarchs in Black is my number 2.
Yikes! It says Space Cadet jet does not ship to Australia. I tell you what, send your info to carcassjohn@hotmail.com, and I'll figure out how to get you copies.
There you go. Awesome.
There you go. All right. What's your number 1, Kevin? Thrash record or a power metal record?
No. It's straightforward heavy metal.
Oh, he's still in Quiet Riot. There you go. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was when this came out. Again, it was like the Saxon. It was nonstop playable in my truck. I mean, wherever I went, it played. And of course, I had to go with Judas Priest.
Oh man,
Invincible
I didn't even think
Steel.
about that. See, I'm glad we didn't do a top 20, because I would just erroneously left that thing out.
But
And that's
yeah, I mean, this thing is just incredible. I mean, I mean, to me, Richie Faulkner really shines on this quite a bit. I mean, they finally let him do his thing. I mean, Glenn Tipton does add a lot of it onto this, but I think Richie really shines on this as well as everybody else in the band. I mean, did you guys happen to get the single off of this album? But you were only able to get it in the magazine.
Yes, I did.
You did finally, yeah. But
Yeah.
the single was only in the magazine off of this. But
well, it actually comes. That Target had a.
They did.
Target of all places had
on CD. You can get it on CD. Yeah, I got
book
that
had
too.
the bonus tracks.
Right, but they
got
have
it sitting right here.
But yeah, incredible. I mean, the artwork is, and there's different covers of this. Yes, that's the one there that Scott shows. But I mean, there's different cover variations of this. I mean, the CD, there's a blue cover, and the shield is a little bit different.
And the Japanese pressing looks a little has a different look to it too, but I mean, the integrity of the design is still there. It's just the coloration is different.
But I had kind of put this away, and I hadn't really played this a lot after, until a couple weeks ago I started playing it, and then I pulled it out, and I found the unfortunate. You can see the two bad spots right up in the corners.
Yep.
One there, and then one's directly across there. It scratched down to about here on the album cover in the back. I didn't notice it when I got it. And I said, oh, man. So the album, when I played it, the backside of, I think, D is where the damage came out, but it was right on the edge. So I cleaned it. It played perfectly, but I had since replaced this. So, I mean, being a perfectionist and a collector, you got to have the mint copies.
I can't say that I haven't done the same thing a few times.
So anyway, my number one is Judas Priest.
Nice. Okay. Good pick.
Well, I'm going completely off the reservation on this, and Steve, bless his heart, he can't be here, but he and I both agree on this. This is shot to the top of the charts in my house with a bullet. Blood Incantation, Absolute Elsewhere. This is a brilliant record. It's got every aspect of what I love in music. It's got ambience, it's got thrash, it's got Pink Floyd, it's got Ozric Tentacle type background stuff, and it's got brutal technical death metal. It's freaking awesome. I can't recommend this thing enough. I actually bought the Blu-ray book package that has another CD called All Gates Open, which is something as a collaboration that they did with Tangerine Dream, or the new members of Tangerine Dream. They recorded this over in a studio in Berlin. They just basically locked themselves down and really this is second to none. This will be hard to top, and I'm one of the few maybe that love the Luminescent Bridge and Time Wave Zero ambient stuff. I love everything that they put out. I've been a fan of theirs since their very first EP, and I can't speak highly enough of this record. Absolute Elsewhere, Blood Incantation, it's phenomenal. It gets.
I have a copy on order, so we'll see if it ever gets here or not.
Okay. You won't be disappointed once it finally arrives. It's just absolutely brilliant.
Right on. My number one is a band hardly anybody's going to know of, but I just can't stop playing this record. I've been playing it all year. It's got so much. It's a heavy record. It's got a lot of soul to it, though, and it's got a lot of emotion to it. I don't know. It grabbed me on the first listen, and I just played it over and over again. And like the other ones I showed, I have it on CD and vinyl, so I play it in my car all the time. I actually played it twice this week already, but this is the new and the latest Swedish band, All for the King.
It's not Aerosmith.
It's not Aerosmith. It's Darkest Before Dawn by All for the King.
Wow.
As I've described it to other people, to me it sounds like Black Sabbath Josh, what's that? What's this? What was the singer's name who did all the albums?
Tony Martin.
Tony, thank you, Tony Martin era Black Sabbath. But the singer reminds me so much at times of, it's kind of like a mixture of David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes, and he hits those high notes, and I really can hear Glenn Hughes in his voice, and I don't know, man. I just think they caught something on this, man. They captured lightning in a bottle and put it onto vinyl. So, yeah, absolutely my favorite album of the year, and yeah, I just can't stop listening to it. So that's why it made my number one. Do I think it's better than everybody else? Not saying that. It's just one that I can't stop listening to. So,
well, that's the
yeah,
beauty
my
of
number
music.
one, All for the King, Doctor Before Dawn.
That's the beauty of music.
Yep.
It's how it touches you. It's how it makes you feel when you're listening to it. I mean, like I said, not Ozric is not for everybody, but I love them just the same. Some people love Slipknot. I don't know why, but they're wildly popular, and you know what? That's okay. We don't have to agree on everything to be friends. So, but I'm actually a little surprised, Scott. But that's cool that you do that, and I will now be checking it out in spades.
That's what makes top lists fascinating. I mean, we're all different, and they're never the same.
I'm curious before we go. I know we're almost out of time, but did any of you pick up the new Aftermath 2025 release?
Did not. Is that the Aftermath from Indiana that
I think I have that
back in the 80s?
Yes, it is. It's the same after. It is.
Wow. Okay.
I do have that, but not the 20. Is that the only release out?
This is their newest album. I think it's 2025. I thought it was. I hate itty bitty little type like this. You can't read it without a freaking
I thought
magnifying
it came
glass.
out.
All right, I'm wrong. It was 2020. It was 2023, not 2024. So, but it came out at the end of 2023. I didn't get it until 2024. So, anyway, I'm just curious if any of you guys picked this up and what you thought of it.
I have that. I love Aftermath. They're killer.
Yeah,
I like Aftermath too. I was just curious.
I had the first one on CD, and I'll have to check that one out. I didn't even know they were still a thing.
Yes, if you go on Facebook, they have a Facebook page, and they're very active on Facebook. So
yeah, very active.
At least somebody thought
I think when they first showed that is when I went over. I think I checked out a video they had of that album, and I bought it instantly. So yeah,
I like your comment. Thank you, Will Rush page. Some good bands for me to check out. That's why I'm here.
Hey, the new Opeth is great.
What is it called? The new Opeth.
I don't know.
I've been hearing,
but I like pretty much everything. You know, Pale Communion is a top 20 record of all time for me.
Is it The Last Will and Testament?
Oh, I don't know what the title is. I just had seen some snippets of it, and I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive. Is that released this year, or is it early next year?
No, it says it's this year. I just looked it up, but
okay.
I know another one that probably would be in my top 5 if I had it. Is the new Accuser, which I pre-ordered months ago, and I'm still waiting on it. Now the CD is out, and you can get the CD. It's the problem is they're on a small label. They were on Metal Blade for the last 3 albums, so their albums are pretty easy to get. But this new one is on a smaller label I believe out of Germany, which is where they're from. So you have to get it from Germany. There's the copies of CD copies on Amazon aren't even coming direct from Amazon, so you can't use Prime. So by the time you pay shipping, it's almost $30 for a CD.
And I've been seeing a lot of that lately, especially stuff I've been ordering, delays on release dates. You know, they're moving them up a week, and next thing you know, they're moving them again. You know, it's been more frequent than at least I'm used to. You know,
do you, Shannon Fries? What do you think of the new Opeth? Leave a message. Let us know. I'm kind of curious what you think.
So have you heard it, Scott? Or are you questioning?
I'm questioning because I have it on my want list, and whether it's one that I should actually. I mean, I like Opeth. They're kind of mood music for me. But if it's really that good, it's good as much everybody else saying. Well, here you go. Shannon says I hate it. So.
Well, their last album, I bought the version in Swedish. It had a better sound to me than English, and maybe because I paid attention more to the music and less to the lyrics, because the lyrics seemed campy.
It didn't make anybody's list, the top 5, but
yeah. See, once again, There's so much out there. I think is it just me, or is 2024 probably one of our maybe the top
Yeah, it's
three decades of
fantastic year.
Yeah, just a unbelievable year. I think people came off the COVID BS and
Yep, that was when
being
I
locked
pulled
up
too.
and just had so much time to get better at what they were doing that this is the result. That's my theory, right or
And
wrong or indifferent. But man, so many great releases in 2024.
no, another one
Well,
I picked up recently that I haven't even spun it yet. I just got it in. Is let's see, it's not. It might be 2023, but has anybody picked up the Humble Pie album?
that,
Uh-uh.
does that have
So this
Steve
is-
Marriott on it? That's Steve
Well, this
Marriott,
is
too.
old. This is old. Humble Pie. This is they recorded an album back in the day when they were hugely popular, and the record company rejected it. So they basically dumped the album, never released it, and then recorded a whole nother album that the record company put out. This is the album that was basically dumped, and some extra tracks that they also recorded that from back in the day. So this is like it's a new album, but it's all old songs and old
Interesting.
recordings. Anyhow, I'm just curious. I just picked it up. I haven't. It's not even. I didn't even crack the plastic on it yet, but I got it for like $9.
Well, if it's
during
old Humble Pie, I'm all
on the
I'm
Black
all
Friday
in.
sale at
Yeah, I'm all in.
Cleopatra.
And that's what a lot of bands are doing too. Like, how many live records has UFO put out in the last 6
Oh my
weeks?
gosh!
I think
they just-
15.
But like
Yeah.
the Yes, you know what? To me, that's like a new record. But anyway, here's some of my honorable mentions: the new Fu Manchu, Return to Tomorrow. I know Molchat Doma. Once again, here I am. That's shoegaze meets 90s post punk. 200 Stab Wounds, Maniacal, Manual Manic Procedures. This Led Zeppelin thing that they came out with. This is once again, it's a new live recording, and but it's from here at the old Texas Motor Speedway. And here, I'm really going to show my true progressive colors here. This is a freaking amazing record. This is Steve Gadd with Chick Corea. And
Wow.
and this thing is 3 albums of just absolute progressive jazz fusion.
Yes, yeah.
And
I love
it's
Chick Corea.
until now. And so, we'll call that, oh yeah, the new Undeath, Tony Clem. You're absolutely right. That thing is brutal. I just picked that up, as a matter of fact. That's why.
There you go. Speaking of all the UFO releases, this is probably this one. If any of them, this is one to pick up, man. This early stuff is great. Of course,
Yeah.
this is pre Schenker, but
Fantastic.
I love the old stuff, back then, and you just don't
It's
see
so
many live albums of this incarnation of the band out there. So
It's so
Just
bluesy.
finished my UFO catalog with Ain't Misbehavin' finally came in. So I'm solid.
Yep. Anywho, well, look at that. I'm glad we didn't do a top 10. We'd still be talking for the next 2 days.
Yeah, you got that right. Oh, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, let's say no to that.
No.
I want that. Yeah, that Humble Pie. I'm really anxious to hear it. It just came in the mail, so
You know,
I'm
that
looking
Taylor
forward to
Swift
it.
thing, I've got a nightmarish story. I think I told you I worked quote unquote security for this little mom and pop record store not too far from me. And this grandmother came with her 2 granddaughters. They had stood in line at a Target release only of a new Taylor Swift record that was $58. They waited 4 hours and didn't even get in. They were only letting like a certain number of people in. And, I think Taylor Swift's very smart. I think she's a genius when it comes to business. I don't care for her music, but more power to her. If you love her, great. But $58? Good grief. I'd rather have Iron Jaw cursed. Scott.
Me too. First 30 orders gets one of these. It looks just like this.
And I think I was amongst the first 30, if I do believe.
You definitely were. I
All
asked.
right.
You definitely were. And they're all personally autographed. So, I mean, literally have autographs, but also the governor right there, he actually personalized them. So each one's got a little different, and it has a little writing on the top.
Oh, cool.
A song title or a greeting or something. So
Is that a new
Yeah.
Vulture record?
Brand new. Yeah, this has been out for a little while. Brand new Sentinels.
Ugh,
It's
I
killer.
love that band.
It's killer, man. It's in my
Yeah.
top 20. But yeah, I think in my top 20, I had 8 thrash bands.
Yeah, here. I need to make another note. I'm writing all this stuff down, and I'm running out of room.
I do it every show. I do that. I'm writing stuff down. I need to get.
I have every Vulture here, even including the alternative covers.
Morbid
And
Morbid
Dylan
Saint's got a
Taylor.
new album out too that I haven't picked up yet. You,
Who is?
Morbid Saint.
Morbid Saint.
Oh yeah, that's another killer band. I worked at a Milwaukee Metal Fest back in the '90s, and they were on that bill, and they were brutal. They were great. I love Morbid Saint.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for this episode. So we'll wrap it up. Appreciate you all watching. We had a really good 2024.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. I mean, we had close to almost 70 people at one time today watching live and commenting. So
Awesome.
that was fantastic. And go ahead and if you guys are on our YouTube page, the Metal Roundtable page, the No Life Till Metal page, go ahead and subscribe, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff, because all that kind of stuff helps the algorithm so that other people can see it, and and they recommend it to other people who like metal or rock or collecting and that kind of thing. So appreciate you guys doing that. But
And I will.
the new Hyrax is fantastic. But that album's coming out. I actually pre-ordered it, so that's coming, but it's not coming out until 2025. The whole album. So
right.
I might have included it, but I'm just going to hold off till 2025 for that one. So.
Well,
Texas
and if I could
Toast
just
Chainsaw
interject
Massacre.
Yeah. If I
I
could
keep
just
hearing that
interject-
the new Morbid Saint is killer, and if Shannon's recommending it, I trust his opinion. So,
Well,
he doesn't. Shannon doesn't hold back, so that's that's kind
Right.
of why I trust his opinion.
Well, I can wholeheartedly say that Shannon's new project, that the Unraveling EP, is going to absolutely shred your faces off, as good
Awesome.
thrash should do. But
New
let me-
Butcher, yes. I just ordered the new Butcher today. Finally found a decent copy for a decent price. That Butcher is, if you like speed metal, there you go, right there with Butcher. Killer
Right
stuff.
on. Well, for episode number 251, we are the Metal Roundtable. Have a happy New Year and a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever you might. I know not everybody celebrates Christmas, so happy holidays for what you do celebrate, and that's it. So,
how do we reach you?
oh yeah, good idea. I forgot about that. I never said I was a professional.
No.
So you can follow John on
Carcass
Instagram
John Art.
at
And I'm
Carcass
telling you
John
right
Art.
now, Jamie Moore, check out 128 DB Rock this weekend. 128db.com. Download the free app. There's no fees afterwards. It's completely free. Check out the crypt, because, like I said, it's going to have a very very interesting beginning. This episode number 24, and
I need to.
and Thrasher Be Thrashed sent me a message. I'm going to hook him up with some Rotting Corpse.
And Kevin, I need to add your name to now that you will be a regular on the show. I need to add your name to the things. But where can people find you at?
You can check out my stuff over at Old Metal Rocker 65 on YouTube, or you can go to Facebook and type in Kevin Colhase, and there it's all there. But the only two places I go.
Right on. And you can find me on Instagram at No Life Till Metal, or you can find me on Facebook on Scott Waters, or you can find me at YouTube and under Scott Waters or No Life Till Metal. And I will soon be on a few other formats as well. I'm going to be moving the videos to another video group
platform.
So,
and you can find Scott at the
and I'm hoping
CD release show on the 1st of February.
You sure can.
Here in Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm hoping I can move the Metal Roundtable onto this other platform as well, and we could do multiple platforms with it. So, and I'm also been talking to another person about possibly moving the Metal Roundtable into a what do you call it? Where we podcast, so you'll be able to listen to us on, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and stuff like that.
I did my radio shows, or when I was doing my radio, I always podcasted all my episodes.
Yeah, so Anyhow, well, that's
on.
it. So now we can do the ending part. Ready? So for
Yeah.
episode number 251 of the Metal Roundtable, metal will prevail. And then you guys make silly faces while I figure out where the ending is here.